Help me reach 3,000 subscribers. Hit like and leave a comment. I really do read them all. She started sleeping with her phone face down. That was the first off note. Not, oops, forgot, but deliberate. Screen dimmed, lock sounds off, thumb already hovering to slide it away. Then the quiet. Not the tired kind after a long day. A measured, distant quiet. Same kitchen table, same Tuesday casserole, and a stranger across from me. Everything good. I tapped the table with my nail once, like a metronome. That a yes or a placeholder? Mark, please. Can we not? She took 3 small bites, stood, ran the faucet like the sink needed comfort. If I'd known where this was headed, I would have started by moving the furniture, not the conversation. I kept it simple. We set a rule early. If either of us checks out, we say it out loud. You checked out. I'm just tired. Then rest. But don't hide. She wiped the counter that was already clean. You hear yourself? I do. Do you? I grabbed my plate and put it in the dishwasher. One more thing. I'm skipping trivia night with the Sullivans this week. I'm done pretending we're fine for photos. Fine by me. The tone said I could vanish, and she'd only ask if I took the remote with me. I knew right then. She wanted space without calling it that. Okay, I know how to give space with a ruler, not a fog bank. That night, I set my alarm earlier, rolled out to the garage before sunrise, and started running my day like she wasn't part of it unless she showed up as a partner. New rule number 1. By Friday, I'd rebuilt my mornings. Gym, shop, coffee from the old place where the owner called everyone sir and meant it. When I came home, Erin was on the couch, wrapped in a blanket like it was a cloak. You weren't here when I woke up, she said without looking up. I left at 5. You didn't blink. Nice of you to tell me. I did. Yesterday, I posted the new schedule on the fridge. She rolled her eyes. What are you, a foreman now? I run a crew. Comes with the uniform. I hung my jacket. You good for this weekend? What's this weekend? Your cousin's cookout. You put our names down for potato salad. I'll drop it off, say hi to your uncle, then I'm out. Her head snapped up. You're not staying? No more playing perfect couple when we're not even talking. That's dramatic. It's honest. She turned her face back to her phone. You do what you want. I am. She smiled without humor. So independent. Should I curtsy? You should decide if you even want me around, Erin. I'm not going to stand next to you while you point me at people like a lawn decoration. That's not what I do. It was last week. She took a breath, slow. That was her tell when she was deciding between firing and freezing. You're exhausting lately. Then rest. I'm not keeping you up. Maybe you could be less intense. Maybe you could stop dodging. I pulled a folder from the drawer and slid it onto the counter. This is housekeeping. Joint account becomes bills only Monday. I'll cover mortgage and shared utilities. Your extras, you handle. I'll handle mine. That's a threat. It's a boundary. You want to go out, shop, see whoever. That's your lane and your bill. No judgment, no tracking. You don't trust me. I don't know what you're doing because you stopped letting me know. I'm not your investigator. I'm your husband. 2 different jobs. Her laugh was small and mean. You rehearsed that? No. It cost nothing. She looked at the folder but didn't touch it. This is petty. No. Petty is changing the Netflix password. This is adult. She stood, blanket dragging. Fine. Do your little system. It's not little. It's how I live. We left it there, air thin. At the cookout the next day, she did what she always did. Circles of conversation without me. Light jokes about Mark and his spreadsheets. The kind that feel friendly until you notice who isn't laughing. Careful, I told her gently when she drifted back with a plate. You're making me a character. I don't play those. She blinked at me. Relax. It's a joke. I don't care if it gets a laugh. It costs respect. Last one for free. Her cousin. A big guy named Nate with grease under his nails and a booming voice wandered over. You 2 fighting or flirting? Neither, I answered. We're doing inventory. Erin's cheeks colored. She changed the subject, dropped a burger on my plate, then, later, found me by the fence. I was out of line, she murmured, eyes down. About the spreadsheets. I'm sorry. Thanks. I kept my tone even. No more group events for a bit. If people ask, tell them we're busy. That's overkill. That's clarity. We'll do family only, shirt stops. After that, we see. She took my arm, light, like a kid touching a hot pan to see if it cooled. I can work with that. Good. I left early like I said. When I got home, the fridge note was gone. The folder moved an inch, a nothing move that still said everything. She saw it. She wasn't ready, but she knew the clock started. At the shop Monday, Ron came by my bay. He's 50, 2 divorces behind him, the kind of man who knows the weight of a socket set and a bad apology. You look like you slept, he smirked, wiping his hands. I did. House is quiet when silence isn't a threat. You two still on ice? She wants fog. I want lines. We're negotiating. Ron nodded toward my phone buzzing on the bench. Your line's calling. Aaron. The name lit up. I answered on speaker because my hands were in a valve cover. Yeah. Are you at the shop? I am. I need you to transfer me 200 from the joint. I'm meeting Megan tonight. It's her birthday. The joint is Bill's only now. You have your card. You set that up without me. I told you Friday. It takes effect today. You're really doing this. I already did. Ron lifted an eyebrow and looked away, giving me privacy, but also not. She pushed air into the line. Fine. I'll figure it out. I'm sure you will. I'll make dinner later. I won't be home before 8. Of course you won't. New schedules on the fridge. You and those schedules. They save me from surprises. Right, she said. Because I'm a surprise. That's your choice. She hung up first. Ron whistled. You good? Better than if I kept pretending. Keep it clean. Don't slander. Don't snoop. Just do what you're doing. Boundaries are quiet if you do them right. Plan. At 7:30, I walked into the house and smelled meatloaf. Erin moved around the kitchen like an actress who remembered the blocking. Plates set, a candle lit. She glanced up. Hey, she said, too cheerful. Surprise. Looks good. I washed my hands. I made your favorite. And yes, I know you don't like the ketchup glaze. I put it on mine. You didn't have to make a whole performance out of cooking. It's not a performance. I know the difference. This is you pulling up an old script. Can you just take the win? I'll take the dinner. The new rules stay. She cut her fork through the crust. I'm not the enemy. I didn't say you were. Then stop acting like it. I'm acting like a man who won't get dragged into a fog. We ate. It wasn't bad. After, she leaned on the counter watching me rinse plates. I miss us, she said soft. Which us? The one where you noticed everything without me asking. I still notice. I dried my hands. Like you being oddly excited for Megan's birthday on a Monday. She's been down. Then send a card. You're being snide. I'm being precise. I pulled my keys from the bowl. I've got a 6 a.m. job. I'm turning in early. She followed me down the hall. Mark. I stopped in the doorway of our room. I want to fix this, she added. Then tell me the truth you're hiding. Her eyes flickered, tiny, fast. There isn't one. Then there isn't us. She went quiet long enough to prove my point without words. After a beat, she stepped closer. What if we just reset? This weekend. Brunch. Hike. Phones off. Just us. That's not a reset. That's a break from reality. Why do you always ruin good moments? I don't. I guard them. I moved past her. Good night. That was the mid-turn. She dusted it with sweetness, hoping I'd drop my rules. I didn't. She could feel it. The rope she'd been holding went slack. Some people pulled back. Some let go. Erin tried both. Thursday. She stood by the door with her tote on her shoulder, shoes I hadn't seen in a while. Perfume I could identify by the way it made the air feel expensive. I'm grabbing coffee with the girls. She tossed over her shoulder. Breezy, already halfway gone. I'll be late. I looked up from the ledger. Which girls? You don't know them. Then text me an address. Safety. She rolled her eyes. I'm not 12. That's a yes. Don't be overbearing. It's coffee. Late coffee. Stop controlling. She checked herself in the mirror. Don't wait up. I watched the door shut and looked at the clock. Then I looked at her shoes again, not coffee shoes. People tell on themselves with details. You learn more from a bag than a speech. I put on a jacket, grabbed the spare key in my calm, and left a minute after she did. I didn't tiptoe. I didn't think up speeches. I drove like I do when I'm following a delivery truck that might turn, patient, a car length back, eyes on the brake lights. She went to a cafe across town that stayed open late. Big windows. Plenty of light. She slid into a booth and smiled in a way I hadn't seen in weeks. A man joined her. He was average, which oddly made it worse. They leaned in. He reached across and touched her wrist. They both laughed like the air itself owed them something. I didn't go inside. I didn't snap photos. I didn't text. I watched long enough to confirm I wasn't crazy, then went home. Suitcases aren't heavy when you pack only what someone keeps. I filled 2 with her clothes and shoes and left them by the door. I put her toiletries in a tote with care, not from mercy, from preference. I like clean exits. I set her keys on top. I changed the garage code. I took a shower. I answered 2 work emails. I waited. At 10:40, the lock clicked. Erin stepped in, voice bright. Hey. She froze at the suitcases. Her eyes flicked to me. What is this? How'd the date go? What? You said you were meeting the girls. You weren't. You were with him. I don't care about his name. She swallowed. You followed me. I follow invoices. I checked a hunch. That's insane. It's careful. You don't know what you saw. I saw enough. She reached for outrage like a coat. I can't believe you packed my things like I'm leaving. You are. Those go with you. This house stays with me. You're kicking me out. I'm giving you what you've been taking anyway. Distance. I nodded at the suitcases. Your mother's place is 15 minutes away. I'd have offered a hotel, but that would be a gift and gifts require respect. You're punishing me. I'm ending a story that doesn't involve me anymore. She stepped forward, then back. We can talk. You had weeks for talking. I was scared. I don't run on fear. Her hand hovered over a suitcase handle. You'd really do this? Over coffee. I didn't laugh. Over pattern. Over lies. I opened the door. Night air came in, cool and flat. You can have this conversation with yourself on the drive. This is cruel. It's clean. You want me to beg? Her voice broke on the question, not with tears, with anger at the loss of control. I want you to respect a line. You crossed it. That's all. She grabbed the handle. You'll regret this. I regret staying past the point I knew better. I lifted the second bag for her. She stared at my hand like it held a switch. It didn't. I don't do switches. I do doors. She made one last move. Hand to my arm, soft. Mark, please. I looked at her hand until she took it back. Respect packs light. I told her, evenly. Everything else can ride with you. She left. Trunk shut. Engine. Gone. I locked the door and slept. Not well, not triumphantly, but straight. Morning at the county office is fluorescent and fast. You take a number, you sign forms, and you realize bureaucracy is kinder than dishonesty because it tells you, step by step, what comes next. I filed what needed filing. I did not send a message. I did not stage a scene. I let the process do what the process does. At 10, I was back at the shop. Ron watched me walk in with a paper envelope. That the end? He asked. It's the start. You tell her. She saw the luggage. She understood the math. He nodded. You need anything? Work. We replaced a water pump together. The rhythm of bolts and hoses cleans you out. Around noon, my phone buzzed. Jenna, one of Erin's friends. Mark? She chirped when I picked up. Can we talk? Erin is devastated. You threw her out. I don't discuss my marriage with her PR team. That's rude. It's healthy. Also, send any group invites to us separately going forward. I won't be standing next to someone who uses me as a prop. She's hurting. She curated that. You're being harsh. I'm being final. I ended the call. Ron didn't comment. That's why we're friends. I sent one message, not to Erin, but to the small circle that mattered. Her parents, our neighbors, the 2 couples we saw often. We're separating. Please address logistics to each of us directly. No mediation, no sides, no stories. That was the public boundary. Short. Clear. It slammed a door without pinning anyone's fingers. Around 3, my neighbor Mary knocked on the shop office window. She's a retired nurse who sees too much and speaks only when necessary. I saw Erin leave last night with bags, she said when I stepped outside. I didn't want to pry. You're not. You doing okay? I'm doing what I said I'd do if the respect went missing. She pressed her lips, approval without applause. Good. Need anything? I have casseroles frozen. I could use you to keep an eye on the house while I change a few things this week. Done. She patted my forearm once and left. People who've actually lived don't gossip. They help. That night, I stripped the bed, washed sheets, and moved to the guest room for now. Not from sadness, from utility. The master held too much of her organization. I like neutral ground when I reset a room. I boxed 3 photos and left one on the mantle from a fishing trip where we both looked like people who could tell the truth. The doorbell rang. Caleb stood outside with a six-pack of ginger beer and a look that said he'd skip jokes for once. I heard, he said. You always hear. You're quiet when you're not okay. I don't like quiet. I'm okay. You want to go for a drive? I want to sit. We sat. He finally asked, you want to tell me what happened? She was already gone. I caught up. Anybody else involved? Yes. He didn't ask for details. You going to scorch earth? No. Just clean cuts. Good. Scorching smells bad. He stayed an hour. We watched a game without following it. That's what real friends do. They bring their body into a room so you're not alone with the echo. 2 days later, Aaron texted. I need some of my mail. Mary has it, I replied. Can we meet to talk? No. Please. Not needed. You're being cold. I'm being consistent. She tried a different angle. I can explain the cafe. You had months to explain the distance. You chose secrets. So that's it. That's it. She sent a longer message I didn't read. Boundaries only work if you don't argue with them yourself. Jenna tried again. You can't just throw away a marriage. I didn't, I told her. Aaron did. I just took the garbage out. That's cruel. It's clean. You should hear her side. I don't take dictation. Everyone will think. Everyone who matters knows better. I blocked her. I don't like blocking, but my home needed fewer doors, not more. At work, a client named Mrs. Flores stuck her head into the bay while I was checking brake lines. My sister said she saw Aaron with a man at a cafe, she said bluntly. Is that why you look 10 pounds lighter? I look lighter because I'm not carrying a lie. Good answer. She handed me a wrapped plate. Eat. You're not special. You're not the first, but you handled it like a person with a spine. I'll take that. When I got home, a letter sat on the counter from Aaron's mother. Not a plea, not a threat. Just a line. I told her you were fair. It did nothing and everything. Parents know. That weekend I changed the locks, updated the codes, moved our accounts into their new lanes. I canceled a trip we'd planned with Caleb and his wife. I sent Caleb the refund. I told our pastor we wouldn't be at the couple's workshop next month. He asked if we wanted counseling. I wanted honesty. I answered. We're past counseling. If I can help. You already did, I told him. You taught me what a boundary is. He smiled a tired smile. Not many people apply it. I'm not most people. He put a hand on my shoulder and didn't say anything else. Aaron texted once more late Sunday. I'm at Mom's. I'll come by for the rest on Tuesday. Mary will let you in, I replied. I won't be home. Cowardly. Clear. She sent a photo of a bracelet I'd given her years ago, still in its box. Should I leave this? Do what you want. It's yours. You're not even angry, are you? I'm done. Silence. Then nothing. The last scene was quiet. Mary texted. She took her things. Left the key. I thanked her, walked the rooms, and the absence made the house honest. I swept, put the candle away, shelved the fishing photo, fixed the cabinet, then sat on the steps with water. A dog barked, a kid laughed, and the world kept moving, as it should. One line for myself. You did what you said you'd do. Be the man you can count on when you're alone. No summary to Aaron, no old messages, no checking her pages. She chose. I chose. That line is where my life restarted. A year later, hard, yes. Complicated, no. I'm still in the house. Garage sorted. Guest room turned office. Bought a truck that fits weekends and work. Works better. Took a foreman role. Ron nags water. Caleb and I fish and talk about nothing, which is plenty. There's Lauren. We took it slow. She hates secrets. Her phone lived on my counter, unlocked, and I stopped noticing. That's trust. About Aaron, I hear what I don't ask for. She's at her mother's a lot. Jenna tried to bait me. I hung up. The hardware guy asked about the mess. I said I'm the Mark who built his own cabinets. Drama doesn't add flavor. It stains. I kept one promise. I never saw her again. No parking lots. No closure. You walk out with dignity, or you don't. I did. Sometimes I recall the suitcases by the door and the moment the game ended. No gloating then, none now. Just the line that opened the future. Respect packs light. The rest can ride with you. It still can. And it did.